Mhm.
You got this thing?
Awesome. So the time is now 5:15, and we're going to call the public hearing to order to consider the Cabaret application that's currently pending for Johnnie's on Broadway, currently located at 1278 Broadway, Albany, New York. Present is myself, Danielle Gillespie, Deputy City Clerk Kashana Bird. I'm a speed information clerk, Jamila Adams, the applicant. And it looks like maybe Dante Jones is trying to join us. Is that someone that could potentially be speaking in opposition or support? So in connection with the cabarets, there's a notification requirement. So notices go out to all the property owners that are within a certain number of feet of the establishment that's looking for a cabaret. Those owners, once notified, can come and speak in opposition or support of the cabaret. So far, we have one written notice that Dale James would like shared in connection with this cabaret. So we'll do that first, then I'll ask questions. So this notice comes from Dale James, and it reads as such. My name is Dale James. I live at 10 Lawn Ave, Albany, New York. It has been brought to my attention that Mr. John at 1272 Broadway wants to open up another cabaret. I am very much concerned about that, as well as all the seniors that live around here. Mr. John already have one around there, and it has been hell. There has been shooting victims of those shots. There has been many of times I had to jump out of my bed and get on the floor to avoid shots. The cops always come a while later. They then want to know if we seen anything. Why would I have seen anything when I'm supposed to be in my bed late at night? There's tons of cars that come and park all over. They use our cars to eat off of. Also, they urinate on property. It's so many fights and loud arguing. These people do not even live down here in North Albany. If they did, it still shouldn't be so much negative activity to the point where we can't even rest. I've been here for 27 years, and it's 95% senior citizens that live here. There is no recreation for the youth. There is no supermarkets to buy fresh vegetables. There is no pharmacy. Everything has been closed down. Is that all you have to offer as Johnnie's? If this place is allowed to continue, there would be many Black men and women potentially killed, because like everywhere else, when you create a breeding farm for criminals, that's exactly what happens. The majority of these homes are privately owned homes owned by seniors, and we would like to enjoy our retirement. We surely don't need what Mr. John is offering. Albany has turned into a ghost town. We pay our taxes. We are homeowner, and we have worked hard to buy our homes and to maintain them and the area. There is so much more that I can say, but I'm gonna end this. I absolutely vote no. So that was the one written testimony that we had in connection with the hearing. And I see Dante Jones is in, and I'm not sure if Dante Jones is here to speak in support of the cabaret or in opposition of the issuance of the cabaret. So this would be the opportunity
Jones,
for
you would like to
Jones.
speak, unmute.
I'm not sure of my position just yet. to the host. Just not sure of the position yet. I don't know what exactly they're offering or what exactly they're trying to modify.
Because this is the first impression you make. Going into the city or
You're on mute.
Currently, the establishment, Johnnie's on Broadway, is applying for a cabaret, which would allow them to have a DJ, karaoke, live music. Those are the things that are permissible under a cabaret once issued. So I'm assuming that you received the notice and you currently live within a certain number of feet of 1278 Broadway. Is that correct?
That's correct. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Is this performance going to be inside or is this going to be outside venue, or that's why I'm not certain what to vote?
So this is basically to give you the opportunity to speak in opposition or support of the establishment being granted. I would assume that if they're having a DJ, it's going to be inside the perimeter. Karaoke typically takes place inside the perimeter of the establishment. In order to come out in the cities right away, it's a different type of permit that they would be seeking, but the cabaret primarily deals with amplified sound inside the establishment. So typically when people come and speak, they speak in support of, because they have a relation, they know the business and they feel like the traffic is monitored appropriate. They share whatever their concerns may or may not be in connection with the issuance of the cabaret.
Yeah, I'm going to have to remain neutral on this right now because, I mean, there are issues, but
Yeah.
I'm not certain what to do in this particular instance.
I loved it that much.
So what we'll do is we'll start asking some questions in connection with the application that we have before us. These questions will be directed towards the applicant. Mr. Jones, if you want to provide any type of statements after the fact, feel free to mail them in. But we're going to close the portion. We may revisit it later on throughout the process of the meeting, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So now the next piece is just directed towards Ms. Adams in connection with the application. And I'm going to turn that piece over to Deputy Kashana Burt and I'ma speak.
Hi, Ms. Adams. I spoke with you earlier today.
Hi, how are you?
We're just the questions are pretty much straightforward. I think you had a hearing before when you got your first one. So we want to clarify first and foremost, your hours of operation. You said, you got until 6 p.m. to CL. What is your specific closing hours for throughout the week?
We're grandfathered in, but after COVID, and I'm a little older now, since when we first started 6 years ago, we close at 2 a.m. So we close on at 2 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. But we're grandfathered into 4 a.m.
So what about your Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, your Wednesdays and Thursday nights? Because I see you're not open on Monday, you're not open on Tuesday.
Yeah, we close at 12 a.m. Like I said, we're to 4 a.m. every day, every night. But after COVID, and like I said, I'm older than when we first started now, so I have different priorities. So we close at 12 a.m. Wednesday and Thursdays, and Fridays and Saturdays, we close at 2 a.m. Sometimes I open on Sundays for brunch.
Okay. Yeah, see, those hours are from 1 to 7, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes.
You have listed.
It's not every.
So it is your intent to do a year-long cabaret to have ongoing entertainment per se throughout the year for different occasions?
Yes.
Do you know, can you please state your maximum occupancy for the record?
73.
And you're currently open and operating as a business.
Yes.
We also asked for you to provide to clarify your square footage of your establishment
Oh, I don't have
for the
that.
record. Okay, at some point, can you get that to us before we issue the cabaret permit?
Yes, it's not
Or
on the
before the review process is finished?
it's not on the application. It should be on the
No.
second. Okay.
No, I just looked, I didn't see it listed. Right? Are there any other, is there any additional rooms in your establishment that will be used independently?
No.
Or for any other purpose?
No.
Okay, we already talked about your hours of operation. I believe the city clerk did mention the entertainment. Is there any, just state for the record, what type of entertainment do you plan to have?
DJs, maybe a live band. Mostly DJs. A live band might ask me every now and then, can they come and perform? But mostly DJs.
I have a
Thank you.
quick follow-up question, and it is partly based on the comment that came in, and it centers around what's your plan for mitigating the sound bleed over? Because it is a residential neighborhood that you are in proximity to. And I see that on your application, you have that you do not have current soundproofing. So what would you be doing to mitigate the bleed over so that the people that are in the houses that are close by are not negatively impacted?
Well, we keep our sound down, our DJs speakers down to a minimum. You can't hear the music outside unless the front door is open, and we keep our door closed. The only issue that the young gentleman in the back ever had after at night was when we throw our bottles away. He said it was waking up kids, but we never had sound. Like, sound issues were never our problem. The neighbors can't hear our music. And plus, I keep it
So,
down because we can't take food and liquor orders with the music down. So we have to keep it down for that. That'll mess up how I make my money.
so are you aware of any complaints outside of, like you said, your neighbor behind you? Are you familiar with any complaints that have been submitted to the police department or maybe even to codes or any other agency?
Not in the last 3 years. In the beginning, yes. Recently, no. That letter that was read by the neighbor was the first I heard. We've all actually been getting along for the last 3 years. It's calmed down a lot now that they, have new spots open. So this is new to me.
What about your security? Do you have security, and what are their qualifications?
I have 2 security outside, 3 inside, and they are they're not armed, but they all have been working in bars and clubs throughout Albany since before I even came home. Sneaky Pete's, Buddha, Ledges, and I've never been to those places. I only came back in 2015, but they're experienced security. They've been doing it for a long time. They know the people. That's why I said it's really, we haven't really had any complaints. Nobody have come to me. We used to have people in the beginning used to come talk about people hanging outside, but now that we close earlier and our crowd is different because so many new spots, then we haven't really had any issues. We haven't had any issues.
So they have on-the-job experience, but they're not necessarily licensed security officers. Was that what you had mentioned?
2 are licensed, the other 3 are not. But they're a team.
I had another quick question about your liquor license. It lists, the one that is with your application packet lists an expiration date of October 31st of 2021. So you would have to send us the new license once it's received.
I have it already. I got it 2 weeks ago. I can bring it
Okay.
up there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Or
that one's
send
good
it to
until
us.
2023. Oh, you have the new, Donna?
Well, we have access to the site to see if you are in compliance. So,
Do I
yeah,
still
we
need?
see, so you could just get us a copy of
You have
what
to
you
send it
usually
to us.
send us with the new date.
Okay.
Mhm.
Along square footage. Got it.
The square footage along, the square footage and the certificate from the liquor license.
Okay.
Another general question we have here is, as you aware, part of the review process includes the Department of Building and Regulatory Compliance to review your application, see if there's any city code issues. Are there any code issues or violations that you have to correct within any time frame?
Nope. It corrected earlier this year.
Okay. Do you mind telling us what they were?
Exit light needed a light bulb. Smoke detector needed to be a carbon monoxide / smoke detector. I use Northeast Tech Restoration. So I only had 3. And the
So is there
update,
anything you would like to add to the record for the consideration of being approved for the cabaret?
this is my first cabaret hearing. I thought I was in compliance, to be honest. I received phone calls in the beginning of 2021, and every time I would call, everybody say they working on it, or don't worry, or you're good, we're working on it. I didn't know I had a lapse, but hopefully I can get it corrected and keep trying to make money for my family. I mean, we haven't done anything. The crime has nothing to do with us. We try to I don't know about criminals that the guys speak of, but it's happening everywhere in the United States. And we haven't had police come down there in years. So there's really nothing I can say. Just can keep doing the best that we can do, keep providing the best food we can do, and protective, safe environment for my patrons.
Thank you. City Clerk Danielle, is there anything you would like to add before we conclude the meeting?
I just would like to give you the opportunity to ask us any questions that you may have regarding what the next steps are, and we'll do our best to respond if you have any questions for us.
What would be
I'm sorry. So we have to
So the
wait.
next steps. Go ahead, boss.
Okay, we have to wait for the other departments. As we mentioned at the beginning of the hearing, that this is a collaborative effort between the police department, our corporation council, planning, buildings and regulatory compliance, and the fire department. So each of the participating departments kind of makes a recommendation regarding whether or not the cabaret should be issued. In the event that a cabaret is not issued and is declined, you would be provided with notice to give you, if there are things that you need to remediate and fix, you can remediate and fix them based on the recommendations from the participating departments. So that's usually what the next steps are.
Okay. And why now, I guess is my question. Because we've been open since 2015. And like I said, this is the first time I ever had a hearing. Is it because of the lapse or because of what's going on?
It's because of the lapse. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's absolutely because of the lapse. If you let your license lapse and it's been a certain amount of time, we have to start it. We have to start from scratch as if it were a brand new application and
Oh.
do the notification, have the hearing, have the different participating departments go in and do site visits and make recommendations. They usually come in, they want to see if you've made any material modifications to the establishment that we would not, that we may need to consider in connection with the issuance of the cabaret.
Okay. All right. Well, I trust your judgment, and like I said, I'm keep doing what I do until I hear from you. Get the square footage over to you. Can I do it by email as well as the liquor license?
Absolutely.
Yes. We'll be in touch. I don't know if anyone has anything else.
I just wanted to see if Mr. Jones had another comment after hearing the information that was provided.
I don't. I'm gonna speak to management at Johnny's establishment, and I'm gonna remain neutral.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, for participating tonight. So with that, I would like to close and call the end of tonight's hearing on Cabaret with Johnnie's on Broadway is 5:36 p.m. You guys all have a good night. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I see that Johnny's is spelled with a Y. For all documentations, is spelled IE apostrophe S.
IE apostrophe S.
That's how I have it in my file. So we'll make sure that if there are any documents.
Oh, that's how I wrote it when I did it. I just did Johnny's with apostrophe Y. This is nothing. It's
Okay.
But on your documents, all your paperwork, it has IE apostrophe S.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much for your time. Meeting is adjourned. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You do the same.
Thank you.
Take care.